Hey everyone, it's Jason Dunn here from Digital Home Thoughts, and this is my review video of the Lenovo A70z ThinkCentre. So this is an all-in-one desktop computer. So essentially we have the monitor and the entire system is built into this unit. If you've already watched my unboxing video, you should if you haven't already seen it. I won't go through all the specs again. What I want to focus on is I guess just how usable is this machine? Does it perform its basic tasks well? Is it worth the value? Is it worth the dollar amount that Lenovo is asking for it? Up front, I would actually say yeah. I mean, this entire unit is essentially aimed at small business owners or home business owners, someone that's looking for a compact setup. Clearly the design, the styling of it, the ThinkCentre branding and the black and everything else, it's not aimed at consumers. Lenovo actually has a couple of other all-in-one units that are much more consumer focused. So this one's really aimed at small businesses and home businesses, things like that. But because of the size, I mean, again, let me just kind of tip it over here. This is the entire machine right here, and for I think a lot of people, maybe someone who wants like a kitchen computer, a student who's in college and doesn't really have a ton of space, all-in-one units like this are actually quite functional, and the Lenovo ThinkCentre A70z has a lot going for it. So let's start off with a couple of things. Because it has an Intel Core 2 Duo E7500, so that's a dual-core CPU. It's running at 2.93 gigahertz. It has enough CPU grunt to for instance, play 1080p video. So this is a 1080p video that I made with ProShow Gold, which is the tool that I use. This is actually MPEG, and it's fairly high bit rate. Like I want to say somewhere in the maybe 8 to 10 megabits per second. As you can tell, the transitions are really smooth. If you're watching this in 1080p, it should look quite good to you. Yeah, so no problem at all playing that type of 1080p content. I'm going to go ahead and I'll just mute the speakers here for a second. I'll show you some 720p H.264 content. This is like a Fantastic Four trailer. Let me just zoom in a little bit here, and you'll see that it looks great. There's absolutely no dropped frames. The quality of the video is quite excellent. Let me just kind of jump ahead here. No problems at all playing that type of HD content. And I'll just pop open really quickly the Watchmen 1080p trailer as well. Again, no problem at all. Really good quality playback. Now, one of the big reasons for that, of course, is just strictly that CPU. The GPU is an Intel GMA X4500 GPU, not a gaming GPU. But again, this is not a gaming, focused consumer machine. You're not really going to use it for gaming. Can you use it for gaming? Well, yeah, you can definitely play flash-based games and simple browser-based stuff, and if you knock the resolution down enough, you can probably get away with some other types of games, but it's not a gaming machine. A couple other interesting things in terms of the overall speed. That video clip that I showed, how long did it actually take to render? The ProShow Gold clip that I showed, it rendered in 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And if you want to kind of compare that, so 2 minutes and 30 seconds, if you want to compare that to an Intel Core i7-920, it rendered in 39 seconds, but that's overclocked to 4.2 gigahertz. So totally not a fair fight. This is a dual core system. The Core i7 is a quad core with multi-threading, so it's actually eight threads. A better comparison would be this is the score for an AMD Phenom X6, but again, also not really a fair comparison because that has 6 cores versus the 2 on the Intel. So all that's to say is that if you did want to use this for video editing or encoding video, it will do quite well, although it is of course limited to those 2 cores. If you really want to do a HD video editing, you probably want to get a quad core or something even faster. Let me show you something that was kind of weird. This is one of the kind of unusual things about this particular desktop. Lenovo, these little deals kept like popping up, and I just took a screenshot of one of these things, and it's powered by Bojango, and it's this deal of the day. Now, I thought that was kind of weird because this is, a business-focused machine, and so it's really weird to me that they would have little sort of consumery sort of almost like crapware, you know, hey, buy this stuff. So that was really kind of weird. I'm not really too sure why Lenovo did that. In addition, it also comes pre-installed with Windows Live, the Windows Live suite, so Windows Live Messenger, Gallery, etc. And Windows Live Messenger, by default, is configured to load up every time you log into Windows. And again, if you are a business or using this as like a point of sale system, I don't really know why you would want this pre-installed. I think Lenovo probably made a slight mistake pre-installing that. I don't really know why you would want to do that. For a business machine, I would think you'd want to keep it as squeaky clean as possible so the IT department, which in some small offices and home offices is like one person, they don't have to uninstall a bunch of stuff. Let me get back to performance for just a second. I'm going to actually unmute my speakers here, and the speakers are actually cranked up to full volume. I'm going to show you my unboxing video, which is right here, just so you can see the 1080p flash playback. I don't believe that it's using any sort of GPU assisted acceleration, because I don't think this Intel GPU can tap into that. But as you can tell, it doesn't really have any problems at all, excuse me, in terms of playing it. So I'm going to go full screen here, and again, this is maximum volume, and I think you'll find it to be quite loud. The Z. Now, the first thing that you kind of notice, and this really for me is fairly important, the design of it. You can tell really that this was, and that's obviously going to be a little external microphone input jack, and then we have a headphone jack. Okay, so again. Well, it's kind of weird to talk and then also hear myself talking. As you can tell, there was no issues there. The speakers which are integrated into the chassis down here are actually quite loud. I didn't have any issue at all hearing anything. Another kind of weird thing, and let me just kind of show this to you again so you can kind of check it out. When you open up Internet Explorer, it opens up the MSN Lenovo specialty page, which is kind of weird. I think it'd be more useful to open it up just to a plain Bing page. But it also opens up the Lenovo home page and shows you more computers. Again, kind of weird. You know, if this is a business machine, it's a waste of resources, you know, to open up a browser and kind of have two tabs. So I think that's, again, kind of weird. There's a couple of interesting software additions that Lenovo has made. One of them is this Lenovo, I think it's called Lenovo ThinkCentre. Sorry, Lenovo Central is actually what it's called. And I'm just going to zoom in here for a second. It's kind of this interesting software. It's kind of weird though. So it gives you like news feeds. It gives you a dashboard. This makes a lot of sense. You know, drive management, network and sharing center. It makes a lot of sense for kind of a corporate desktop. There's a Lenovo shopping tool, so you can actually go and actually shop for Lenovo accessories. Then they've got this video tool, which is kind of interesting because they actually have different types of videos up here. Again, I'm not really too sure what this is doing on a corporate desktop. It seems more like a consumery thing, but it's kind of interesting. They have stories from the Associated Press and whatnot. And then there's, again, it's more just sort of like promotional stuff. You know, there's all these like weird offers and things. And again, for a desktop computer that's aimed at small offices and home offices and kind of the corporate world, I don't really know why you would put this on here. It's a bit of a strange fit. Now, there is also this ThinkVantage toolbox, and this is a bit more focused on actual system health, you know, so you can actually click on this and get system health, and it tells you about your performance and the hard drive and everything. Again, it's quite nice. It's not necessarily something that I would personally use, but it is kind of cool. I'll zoom in up top here because it actually shows you, oh, it looks like it's searching for updates. I'll just skip away on that. It actually shows you the machine, the serial number, and it also shows you the warranty, which is kind of cool. So it actually tells you that it expires in 254 days, which I think is pretty cool. Yeah. Now, let me just zoom out here again. Getting back to kind of the overall hardware for a second. So it does have an optical drive. The optical drive pops out the side right here. Works, you know, pretty good. It's basically like a laptop drive. A slot loading drive probably would have been a little bit easier, you know, to kind of use. You just kind of slide the disk in, but it's not really a big deal. One of the things that I didn't like too much about the hardware is that if you have a flash drive, the USB drives are actually over here on the side, the USB ports rather, and when you're looking at the machine kind of square on or even at a bit of an angle, you can't see them. So you kind of have to physically, you know, peer your head around the corner to get at these USB ports. It's not a big deal, but I did think it was kind of interesting. With a lot of other machines, you know, they might have, you know, kind of beveled this away so that you could actually see the ports a little bit easier, but, you know, not really a big deal. So the machine sells for $729 as of end of July 2010. Sells for $729. You can get it from a couple of different places. They're basically online stores. I'll put an information link in the video description. And again, this particular unit, it comes with a wired keyboard and a wired mouse. There is an option for a wireless mouse and keyboard. Lenovo said when somebody asked them about why they put a wired mouse and wired keyboard in the box by default is that for some businesses that are using a machine like this as a point of sale system, so they're using it in their store, to actually process transactions and run credit cards and things like that, they don't want to have to worry about running out of batteries, and so a wired keyboard is just kind of a no-brainer way to keep the setup really easy. The last thing I guess that's worth mentioning is that, of course, this thing does have built-in Wi-Fi. I did not have any trouble at all connecting to my Wi-Fi network. It is not N, which is kind of interesting because I originally thought that it did have N, but it can't see my 802.11n network, so that means that it's strictly BG, but it connects really solid, works really well, and so overall, I would say that this is a really functional machine. It does have some limitations. There is no VGA or DVI port on it, or HDMI, for any kind of secondary display output. So if you're looking for a machine that has secondary display capabilities, this is not going to be it. There are some options for a USB-based dual display, kind of solution. So that is an option, but for something like this, it's just not there. Again, this is sort of designed to be a self-contained unit, kind of an all-in-one, really easy to operate. You can actually open up the bottom of this. It sort of flips open kind of like this, and you can upgrade the RAM really easily. Right now this has 2 gigs, but it's easy to go up to 4 gigs, and I think it even supports potentially up to 8 gigs. Sorry, I take it back. It is upgradable to 4 gigs. So yeah, I think overall it's a pretty good system. This has been Jason Dunn from Digital Home Thoughts, and if you're looking for an all-in-one unit, the Lenovo ThinkCentre A70z is definitely worth considering. But also, to be fair, you should look at Lenovo's they have another unit, I think it's also called an A70. I'll double check this. It's more of a consumer-based unit, and it's an all-in-one. It's definitely worth looking at. And then, of course, HP has some interesting all-in-one options. So if you're going to go for an all-in-one, you want to shop around a little bit. And unless you sort of want some of the kind of small office, home office features and something like this, you may be better suited with a more consumer type system that has a little bit, nicer design and things like that. But the Lenovo A70z is definitely a workhorse machine that I think would do a really good job for any kind of small office or home office or any kind of, small business. So yeah, that has been my review of the A70z. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the Thoughts Media channel, post a comment, and tell me what you thought of the video. And if you have any questions, please post them too. Thanks for watching.